I, 20F, can't make friends. They eventually try to get with me. I don't know how else to put it, forgive how narcissistic this sounds. Whenever I'm friends with someone, I eventually discover their ulterior motives. The only exception is when I befriend my partner's friends, but I want my own. I'm really lonely and just want platonic friendship more than anything. Haven't been able to find this at school, work, I don't know where else to look. Had some luck online for a while, but everyone eventually stops talking to me. Used to have a best friend for a year and a half. Once she moved away, she admitted she had feelings for me the entire time. I felt betrayed because I had confided in her this issue and we drifted apart because of the distance. Last year I befriended a girl with a boyfriend thinking she was safe. Both of them tried to convince me to break up with my ex to get with her. I've stopped talking to her for obvious reasons. These are only 2 examples out of tons. This happens to me regardless of my relationship status. I've been in therapy and nobody seems to have answers. Even tried to go into friendships straight up confessing my issue and asking for them to respect my want for a platonic relationship. Looking to the harsh words of Reddit for advice. But understand this took a lot for me to write this. What the hell do I do? How can I even make friends? Too long didn't read. Seemingly platonic friendships always want more. How can I get a strictly platonic friendship? How do I even meet people nowadays? Edit, a fair bit of you suggest making friends of the same sex and stop befriending guys, but both my examples are same sex. Lamau. Meeting people is easy. Just offer food. Making friends is hard. I'm pretty much just a walking wallet to everyone I know, haha tongue. If you ever find the secret to making legit friends, please DM me. Always say yes to an event. If you can't, propose an alternative. Due to my husband's job we moved around a lot. Being in my late 20s/early 30s I found it awkward. I started going to meetups and talking with cool people at work, then dinners or events, and I'd always agree to attend. If I couldn't I'd offer another event/time. Sorry, can't do dinner on the 3rd, what about the 5th after 6? Eventually you either click and become good friends, or you're okay friends. I am 46. I am a dude. This happens a ton. I don't know if it's an age thing, but in the past decade the women in my life have been acting like boys did in their late teens. At first I got angry over the attention. The attention would always show itself when drinks were involved and I feared my response more than anything else. This being said, my honest suggestion is to try and come to terms with this fact of life and change your perspective to something more like, all animals have this drive to procreate. Humans do as well. Our lives are filled with this search for our partner and to procreate. We have evolved to spot healthy people to mate with. We have developed pheromones, literally biologically changed at the DNA level, to produce a scent to attract people to us. If a friend tries to get with you or shows affection, take it as a compliment, tell them you are sorry that you don't feel that way about them and want to continue to friendship, and then go on with your normal friendship day, not making it weird. You have good qualities people like in their lives. Of course they will be attracted. Of course they will want to be romantically linked to you. None of that takes away from the friendship. I have played many games of pool with people who were interested in me, or I was interested in them, and nothing ever happened except hundreds of hours of good times. Nothing ever happened except some amazing memories I will never forget, getting tacos at 2 a.m. Nothing ever happened except bonding over stupid Kung Fu movies with kangaroos in them and crying laughing for hours later that we actually spent money to see the movie in a theater. If someone shows you attention romantically, nothing has to happen, except all the great things platonic friends do if they aren't having sex, which are the best memories, the best tacos, the best times. This is clearly a problem with your pheromone production. It's simple biology. Your friends are being mesmerized by microscopic particles floating directly from your glands into their holes. A spritz of coyote urine behind the ears twice a day should do the trick. I feel you. As a woman, I've had kind of the opposite problem. Every female I've been friends with eventually tries to get with the man I am with. Consequently, I had only male friends for a long time, and that came with its own complications. At this point in life I have exactly one female friend and she's a cousin of mine, but her taste in men is the complete opposite of mine and I actually trust her. But honestly, I have no idea how to make new girlfriends at this point in my life, and have honestly given up even trying anymore. If you figure it out, post an update, because I'd love to know the answer lol. Well fuck, my girlfriend needs friends that aren't trying to do things with her. I would also love to know where she can meet these people. Even though it didn't really help me, I would still recommend Bumble BFF. Limitation is it only matches you with the same gender, plus side it's for platonic connections only, mostly roommates. Can't hurt to try, good luck to her. 6 years / show son can't pee in the troughs at school. School is offering to let him go in teacher's lounge. Husband, 35, wants him to man up or piss your pants. I'm 35F, disgusted and scared for my son. The school we send our kids to is an older building and the boys' bathroom has these large troughs where they sort of do a community pee. There are no dividers or privacy of any sort. As soon as school was allowed back in this year, our son would come home in severe agony and actually got bladder infections. I took him to the doctor and it came out that he was too afraid to pee in the troughs. I called the school and they said it was no problem. He just needed to quietly tell his teacher and she'd page them office to have them let him in the teacher's lounge. Figured it was an easy, quiet solution. I told my husband and he was actually mad at me and the school. He said that the solution was coddling our son and going to make him soft. He's going to need to pee in front of men at urinals for the rest of his life and mommy, Mrs. Prissy B. TCH and the fat fucking school nurse aren't going to hold his dick. He told my son either pee in the boys' bathroom like a man or piss your pants. Which horrified my son. Obviously I have major issues with my husband that need resolution, but what is the solution for my son? Do I tell him to ignore his dad and just go with the school plan? I used to be afraid to pee in public as a child because of the loud toilets. It helped to have the matching parent figure come with me and show me it was okay. I see two problems with this plan. First, I don't think either parent is going to be at school with the kiddo. Second, the matching parent figure is Mr. Then Pee Your Pants You Little Wimp, who has so far not shown any inclination or ability to be helpful. Your son is going to grow up hating your husband and later hating you for allowing this to happen. Why exactly can't the kid just go pee in a stall? Do they all just shit out in the open also? As best I can gather there's a single stall and while it's not a rule, the school encourages the boys to save it for the kids who have to be My son is a little on the rigid side so he interprets that as a hard and fast rule. Ew, your husband's attitude is horrible. I can't believe he'd say that to his own child. It's no wonder your son is a nervous child. I can't imagine having a dad with an attitude like that. He must be terrified. Also, considering he's the one dealing with the most problems BC of this, I'm sure if it was up to your son he would pee like all the other kids and solve the issue all at once, but it's not that simple. I suggest taking him to the psychologist to figure out the underlying cause. It's definitely not as simple as man up. He's just 6. I'm not sure why people expect children over the age of 3 to know everything. So over people being mad at kids for being anxious, or crying or scared. He's only been alive for 6 years. Instead of telling him to piss on himself or man up, he should be working with your son to get him more comfortable using the bathroom. Yelling and making him anxious isn't going to help. Also, your husband sounds shitty for talking bad about staff who just wanted to help his son. My 30M partner, 30F, is extremely upset at me because I hit her. I want to preface this by saying I know the title is extremely clickbaity, but there's context and I wanted to ask about how I should proceed with next steps here as I am finding myself in a huge values conflict. My partner has a running joke where she tries to poke my anus through clothes because she finds it funny when I am not paying attention and how I react to it. For the sake of the thread and my personal reasons, I will refer to the anus as butt butt and none of this will be about my butt cheeks. This running joke has been going on for a while, and while I admit that it sometimes makes me uncomfortable, I have become flexible about it, and asked her not to do it when I am doing something sensitive, such as me bending over to pick something up, me trying to reach for something behind a couch, etc. And sometimes even if I ask her not to do it, she goes ahead and does it. 2 days ago, I asked her to help me with putting some stuff on top of my ceiling height closet. I was stepping on a stool, and had to get up and down every time to get another thing and put it up. I have an injured knee, so this was becoming a bit painful, so I asked her for help so she could pass me the boxes I wanted to put up top. Stool I was on was meant for sitting only, and not standing on it. I am not tall by any means at 5 feet 8 inches, but I was standing on a 40-inch plastic stool. She passed me a box, and while I was reaching for the top part of the closet she poked my butt. I got incredibly startled and almost slipped, and got mad because I could have fallen, and told her to cut it off and to just stop helping if she was going to be joking like that. She stopped and continued helping for a while. Yesterday, I asked her to help again, and she jokingly asked if she could poke my butt and I said no. I told her I was scared of falling off and hurting myself when we are so close to moving to our new home. She laughed it off and said she wouldn't do it. I got on the stool again, she passed me a box, and while I was reaching up she said, "Oh, your shorts slipped down a bit when you got on the stool, let me fix them for you." But then I felt her hand getting close to my butt and I swatted what I thought was her hand with my one free hand, but I actually swatted her face and hit her eye hard. I immediately got down, as she started yelling in pain, and I started to ask if she was okay, if she could see with that eye, and to let me see. I have a medical background, and told her to go rinse real quick. When she came back, she was extremely pissed at me and wanted me to apologize. I'll be honest with you all, I didn't want to. While I understand I hurt her, the fact I explained to her the day before how I was upset that her little joke could have made me fall and she didn't acknowledge the fear, or apologize, made me act petty and tell her I didn't think it was fair to apologize when she never did, and that my action was justified because she had not respected my wishes before, so I reacted instinctively. She took this very badly, and now we are stuck in a point where she asked me if that meant I didn't trust her, and me saying I can't trust someone who does something they said they wouldn't do. So I'm approaching you all now for advice on how to move forward with this situation. Neither of us is budging, and I have to admit I would feel like she is winning if I have to admit fault through what she expresses should be none of her own. Update. So first of all, I want to take the time to thank you/Opus, obviously trolling you/Answeranas, for the help and resources they provided, as well as everyone else who shared their opinion on what should be done. And with a shocking turn of events, my Mill saw my partner's bruised eye. I scratched her eyelid with my nails as I had just trimmed them when this happened, and asked what the hell had happened. My partner first said he hit me and Mill went from 0 to 100. Her other daughters all are in abusive relationships, and then calmed down and asked why. She knows I am not a physically reactive person, so she was shocked to hear I would react like that. She started asking my partner all these questions until she spilled the beans. My Mill is extremely upset at my partner and gave her a good telling about how she earned that injury and not to answer things so lightly. Mill is a previous rape survivor, and she was abused anally by her own grandfather, so she took the whole situation very personal and was very passionate about it. Partner and I did sit down and talk after her mom had a very long talk with her. There was a bit of finger pointing, and we uncovered some deeper rooted issues which we have decided to work on, as there are a lot of things for which the relationship is good and valuable. But we both admit that by suppressing these things and not being honest to ourselves, we are setting ourselves up to let everything out in an uncontrollable way instead of a logical one.